Chapter 16, Greenhouse Conspiracies. The trio rushed to Mary Hollow's magical greenhouse, the urgent summons echoing in their minds, their footsteps crunching through the snow. As they stepped inside, their jaws dropped in awe. Holiday-themed plants ran amok, mistletoe vines snaking across the floor like living ribbons, candy cane stalks towering like crimson and white pillars, and ornaments blossoming like exotic flowers in a riot of colors. The air was thick with humidity and the scent of pine, gingerbread, and peppermint, a heady mix that made their senses reel. The distant hum of carols seemed to warp and waver, as if the very atmosphere was distorted by the chaotic magic. Jack's breath misted in the humid air, his voice a low whisper that sent a chill down their spines. Something's not right here. This isn't natural. It's as if the magic is unraveling. His ice-blue eyes narrowed as he surveyed the chaotic growth around them, his grip tightening on Holly's arm. The mistletoe vines seemed to writhe with a life of their own, and the candy cane stalks loomed like twisted pillars, their stripes pulsing with an eerie, otherworldly light. The magic here feels alive, but it's chaotic, almost aggressive. It's like nothing I've ever encountered before. Holly nodded, her eyes scanning the wild growth, her fingers tingling with a mix of anticipation and dread. The sugarplum bushes rustled ominously, their leaves shimmering with an intensity she had never seen before, as if the very essence of the plants was in turmoil. The air crackled with a tense, electric energy that made the hairs on her arms stand up. The magic seemed to be fighting against itself, a symphony of discordant notes that grated on her senses, a cacophony that threatened to drown out the distant hum of carols. We need to find the fragment and fast. Before whatever's happening here gets worse. Before Mary Hollow is changed forever. Her voice wavered slightly, the gravity of their situation weighing heavily on her, the responsibility for their magical home pressing down like a physical burden. Evergreen pointed towards a secluded area, his voice barely audible above the rustling leaves and the distant hum of carols. Look, over there. Something's going on. I can feel it. His brow furrowed, his senses heightened by the pulsating magic that filled the air, the scent of pine and gingerbread almost suffocating in its sweetness. There was an undercurrent of something darker, a hint of decay beneath the saccharine surface that made him uneasy, a sense of wrongness that gnawed at the edges of his consciousness. They crept closer, hiding behind a dense thicket of sugarplum bushes, the leaves sticky and sweet against their skin, clinging to their clothes like desperate tendrils. Voices murmured ahead, the tones secretive and conspiratorial, sending a shiver of unease down their spines. They peered through the foliage, their eyes widening at the sight of several Kringle Clan members huddled together, their expressions serious and shrouded in the dappled light filtering through the glass ceiling. The scent of pine and gingerbread was almost overwhelming, cloying and thick, making it difficult for them to breathe silently, as if the very air was conspiring against them. Noelle Kringle stood at the center, her voice hushed yet intense, her eyes gleaming with a fervor that made Holly's heart pound. The time has come to alter Mary Hollow's magic. The celestial star's power is waning, and we need to act before it's too late. Before our magic, our very existence, is threatened. We must seize control before the balance tips. We cannot afford to stand idly by while our home crumbles around us. She held up a small, ancient-looking book, its pages yellowed and its cover adorned with intricate symbols that seemed to pulse with a life of their own. The rituals in this tome will guide us, but we must act swiftly and without hesitation. The future of Mary Hollow depends on it. We are the guardians of our town's legacy, and we must do whatever it takes to preserve it. The others nodded, their faces etched with determination, their hands clenched as if ready for a fight. Holly's heart pounded in her chest, her mind racing as she tried to grasp the implications. They were planning something drastic, something that could change the very essence of Mary Hollow, something that could tear apart the fabric of their magical world and unleash unpredictable forces. The thought of their home being forever altered sent a wave of panic through her, the weight of their responsibility pressing down on her shoulders like a physical force. Jack's hand found hers, his grip steady and reassuring, his skin cool against her warmth. He mouthed, "We need to find the fragment," his eyes scanning the area, alert for any sign of the shard, any clue that could lead them to their goal. His breaths were measured, his focus unwavering, a stark contrast to the chaos surrounding them. The pulse of magic in the air seemed to be growing stronger, the plants around them responding with increasingly erratic movements, as if the very greenery was being driven to a frenzy by the chaotic energy. Holly nodded, her gaze sweeping over the chaotic greenery, her breath catching in her throat as she spotted it, an ever-blooming poinsettia, its crimson leaves pulsating with a soft glow, a beacon of hope amidst the brewing storm. The Renewal fragment nestled within its petals, a promise of rebirth and restoration, a tangible link to the magic they sought to preserve. The sight of it filled her with a mix of excitement and fear, the weight of their mission settling heavily on her shoulders, the responsibility for their town's future pressing down on her like a tangible force. She could almost feel the fragment calling to her, its magic resonating with her own, a silent plea for rescue, a desperate cry for help. She gestured towards the plant, her heart in her throat, her pulse racing with a mix of excitement and fear. They moved stealthily, their steps silent on the moss-covered floor, their breaths held as they inched closer to their prize. Holly reached out, her fingers brushing against the fragment, its power pulsating in her hand like a heartbeat, a tangible reminder of their mission, of the hope they carried with them. The fragment seemed to hum with life, its magic resonating with her own, sending a shiver of connection through her. It was as if the very essence of Mary Hollow was flowing through her veins, a potent mix of holiday spirit and ancient magic that filled her with a sense of purpose and determination. Suddenly, Noelle's voice cut through the air, sharp and suspicious, shattering the silence like a knife. "Who's there?" The words rang out, echoing through the greenhouse, freezing the trio in their tracks. Their hearts pounded in unison, their breaths caught in their chests. They were caught, ensnared in a web of secrecy and deception, a pawn in a game they barely understood. The weight of their discovery pressed down on them, the fragment in Holly's hand a tangible symbol of the stakes they were playing for. The future of Mary Hollow seemed to hang in the balance, their every move fraught with consequence, their every decision crucial to the fate of their magical home. In an instant, they sprang into action, their movements fueled by adrenaline, their instincts honed by the chase. They dashed through the greenhouse, the Kringle Clan members hot on their heels, their footsteps echoing like thunder in the confined space. The chase was frantic, their pursuers relentless, their lungs burning with exertion and fear. Holly clutched the fragment, its power pulsating in her hand, a tangible reminder of their mission, of the hope they carried with them, a beacon of light in the darkness that threatened to engulf them. The greenhouse seemed to come alive around them, the plants shifting and rustling as if trying to aid their escape, the magic of Mary Hollow pulsing through every living thing, a silent ally in their desperate flight, a tangible force that seemed to will them onwards, urging them to save their home and preserve the magic that bound them all together. They burst out of the greenhouse, the cold air hitting them like a slap, their breaths misting in the frigid air, their hearts pounding in their chests. Jack skidded to a halt, his breath ragged, his eyes scanning the town square, his mind racing with possibilities and plans. "We need to split up. Time's running out. We need to find the final fragment before it's too late. Before Mary Hollow is lost to us forever." His voice was firm, his resolve unyielding, a testament to the strength they had found in each other. The bond between them had grown stronger, forged in the fires of adversity, a beacon of hope in the face of uncertainty. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their quest to save the magic of Mary Hollow.